And today in our studio we have Ivan Stupak, a former Security Service of Ukraine officer and a military expert. Hello, pane Ivan.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, greetings. So let's talk about Ukrainian innovations. Innovations in the sphere of ballistic and wind missiles, cruise missiles, announced by Volodymyr Zelensky at his big press conference a couple of days ago. We have heard about the missile drone Palyanytsia, and allegedly there was first footage of its usage, successful usage against the Russian depot. What do you think about that?
It's a great news. It's a great news both about the ballistic missile program and and also uh, jet drone, because the Palyanytsia, it's not just a drone. It's could be called even a cruise missile, because instead of piston engine, it has jet engine with extended range of use. So I do believe in next weeks, maybe. Yeah, I think next weeks we will see the more examples of successful use such type of munition. But the main issue is how to produce this munition in good numbers, because one cruise missile is good, but we need hundreds and hundreds every month. Okay, it's one piece of news, and what about next? Ukrainian side claimed about successful first test flight of test usage, first Ukrainian ballistic missile. But what we know, it's about it, we just could assume that the range of this ballistic missile could vary from 500 maybe up until 700 kilometers. We also could assume that it could be ground launched system, or it could be even air launched or sea launched. But from my side, it could be just a ground launched. And what a main flaw for this piece of munition? It doesn't have a name just right now, and it causes that it's just a test example, test unit. Maybe Ukraine have to spend about several months just before we could produce these ballistic missiles, maybe in 10 pieces per month, maybe 15 pieces per month, but took it will take time. Sorry.
Yeah, and actually, while the president announced very concisely and secretly about this missile, Fedorov, Mr. Minister of Digital Transformation, has actually said a couple of words about Palyanytsia missile, that it costs about $1 million each piece, and yeah, let's keep it secret because the secrecy of the Kursk operation resulted in its success, while we in Ukraine have to do something to produce more of these weapons. Like Russia, it launches 100 missiles in one strike each month at Ukraine. They have those from Soviet times, like production facilities. And in Ukraine, we have to build that up from scratch. Do you see in a foreseeable future investments? Who could invest in that and help us with the missile program?
I think only government. It's couldn't be shared with private business. It's from government. Just okay. Just right now during the war, I cannot see any possibilities to find more investments from outside. I don't know, maybe from Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Rheinmetall. Just right now, it's from government, because we are not tied with limitation of using such Ukrainian munition. We could use it against any target within Russian territory, whatever. Kursk region, Belgrade region, Voronezh region, and only Ukrainian military command will decide what target should be destroyed with Ukrainian munition. But also coming back to my words, we have to wait while this munition will be produced in good quantity, because one piece is good, but we need hundreds and hundreds every month.
Yes, and I also know one particular country where a lot of Russian ballistic missiles are stored. Those are in Belarus. And in the first days of the war, Belarus launched from its territory Russian ballistic missiles. Now we have accumulation of Belarusian army at the border with Ukraine, while there's hot processes on the front line near Pokrovsk. Russia is pushing, and Ukraine is pushing into Kursk region. There's a lot of activity in the front line in the east and north of our country. Simultaneously with this, Belarus is escalating. They even have some signs on their military equipment, allegedly for an offensive operation. But what do you expect from these actions of Lukashenko's regime?
To be honest with you, I do not expect some provocations from Belarusian regime, or especially Alexander Lukashenko, because, as far as I know, during the last 2 years of this war, Lukashenko regime transferred to Russia Federation lots of ordnance, lots of munition, combat jets, shells, and different type of military equipment to Russia Federation, and helicopters, etc. And as far as I know, now Belarusian warehouses are almost empty, almost bare, and I do not believe that Belarus will start any offensive operation against Ukrainian territory. In this case, I would like to advise to your honorable audience to have a look on such monitoring public named Belarus Gayun. It's Belarusian public, and they're monitoring any transferring of military equipment and troops on Belarusian side. And right now, they can't see any deployments of Belarusian troops next to Ukrainian border, or deploying different types of multiple launch rocket system, or etc., etc. So the possibility of aggression from Belarusian side now is equal up to zero.
Thank you for that insight. It is actually very interesting how the Russian armed forces are just taking out everything from their Belarusian counterparts, and it's more like a psyop, a psychological information operation against not maybe Ukraine, because Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian people do not seem to be very worried with the Belarusian threat, but rather for the Western audiences, which see like Russia is a country, both Soviet and Belarus is a post-Soviet country. Oh, is that two countries against Ukraine at the same time? Like they are forgetting that Russia has exploited every resource possible from current state of Belarus. And
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Look, I see that Alexander Lukashenko, the dictator of Belarus, he is now concerned with only one great issue for him: how to find a successor. Because, as far as I know, and we can see that the health of Lukashenko is not so good. He is not a young man, and he cannot live for decades. He understands this, and I know he is looking for successor. We don't know who it could be. His youngest son, Nikolai, or the speaker of Belarusian parliament, Natalia Kachanova, but someone could be his successor. And also, I could see clearly that Alexander Lukashenko would like to step away from Ukrainian war and to forget about his participation on very beginning of this war, when Russian equipment and the Russian forces crossed the Ukrainian border from Belarusian side. He would like everyone to forget about this moment and to start everything with blank sheet.
That's why he got Chinese troops in Belarus on the military drills, like a counterpart, a counter force to the Russian military station there. And about finding a successor, why just not allow elections and for the people of
Yeah.
Belarus to elect a president after Lukashenko is off from power?
Look, Lukashenko, he's in power for about 30 years, and he would like to his successor to be a very confident person, a very reliable person, someone who he can trust him or she. And the election, it's not an option for dictator. Dictators doesn't like elections because they could cause to any different outcomes which cannot be foreseeable. So that's why that is why I can see right now. And you just talked about the Chinese troops, but on this point, I can see that Mr. Lukashenko, he would like just to increase the level of his army, and he would like to train his army as much as possible, because if you will compare the morale of Belarusian army, the training skills of Belarusian army, that the last time when Belarusian armed forces gained some skills, it was Afghanistan campaign that was about 50 years ago. And the previous experience, it was just only World War II. From this period, Belarusian army doesn't participate any military conflicts all around the world. So they are blanket in experience. So no experience, totally zero experience. But comparing with Ukraine and the Russian side, Belarus looks very weak, and Lukashenko understand this is a problem.
Okay, thank you. It was Ivan Stupak, military expert
Thank you.
and former officer of the Security Service of Ukraine. Thank you for that insightful conversation. And that concludes our today's video for now. Thank you for watching, for staying updated, staying with us. Like and subscribe to our UATV channel for more news from Ukraine, because it is your support that matters for us. Goodbye.